Today on the statue review table, we have Aquaman from DC. This is made by Sideshow, and it is the Prince of the Seas, the Prince of Atlantis, the King of Atlantis, Aquaman. The most popular DC characters out there, member of the Justice League, and I think Marvel even copied somebody off him too. But I'm super excited to review it. Hey, welcome to the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X. That is called satire to piss off or trigger people that probably freaked out. Of course, this is not a DC character. This is not Aquaman. He predates Aquaman. From the Silver Age Marvel Comics, we have Namor or Namor, the Submariner, Submariner. You know, growing up, I always called him Namor and Submariner, but some people have told me my pronunciation is wrong, and I do that sometimes on purpose to trigger them as well. But really excited to have this piece because it's a really old piece, but new to me, brand new. I just opened it. So this is made by XM Studios, and it's one of the first statues that I really sought after. When I started collecting about 10 years ago or so, he already existed. That's the crazy thing. He came out right around that time, maybe a few years before, maybe right after I started collecting, and I always wanted this piece. And he retailed, I think, for around $1,000 or so. I got him for way cheaper, which is why he's finally on the table. That's going to hit, isn't it? Oh, damn, that was close. Did you see that? So again, made by XM Studios, quarter scale. We're going to do a review. And what's crazy about this statue right here is it holds up really well, even though the age. And I'm shocked you can get it so cheap. You know, I've seen a decently cheap price on it for probably at least 5 years or so. But now that I have him in person, I do not want to get rid of him. Now, in full transparency, I did own another statue of the character. It was a throne statue, this custom quarter scale right here, which was better than this, but it also cost about 3 times more. Anyway, let's dive in. If you're unfamiliar, you can see the comics next to it. He first appeared in Fantastic Four #4. The slab over there on the other side, that's his first appearance. And then eventually he got his own series. And he most recently was in Black Panther 2, which I haven't watched that since the theaters, but I think in honor of getting this statue, I'm going to do it after the review today. And I like how they portrayed him there. A little bit different, but I did enjoy that. And Namor, or Namor, is incredibly powerful. Not only does he have a lot of the traits that Aquaman has, and again, he predates Aquaman as far as controlling the water, being able to breathe underwater, he can fly, he can control some creatures, but he has super strength and super speed. In the comics, he actually almost stole Sue Storm from Reed Richards. But, eventually, he became kind of like an anti-hero. Sometimes he would go against them, sometimes he would team up with them, but it was usually for his own agenda. So let's look at the review today. What's great about this statue, and also a negative in the concept that we're going to talk about here, is the base. Now, with making an incredible base like this, because it is incredible, it is in the middle of the ocean, which is fantastic, and I like that there's no sub-base or museum base around it. And then you have, I assume it's a squid. It looks more like a squid, but it could be an octopus. We're going to go with squid. Splashing all over the water, coming out, and he is standing on it ready for battle. He's in a very dynamic pose. He has his trident or javelin or whatever the hell you want to call it. It looks like he's about to throw it, which I don't think he threw it too often. But this is part of his kingship. Again, he is Prince Namor. And I don't remember if it was of Atlantis or not. Like I said, I think Aquaman was actually a copy of him. But you feel the power of him. You see the wings on his ankles. That's actually how he flew, which seems a little weird if you don't know the character. But if you grew up with the character like me, it's normal. Now, the outfit he's wearing here is not something we typically see in the comics, but I'm going to speculate that it is based off of the comics with XM Studios. So I love the concept. While the base is a little overpowering, that knocks it down to a 4 out of 5, because in my opinion, the base should not be a bigger star of the show than the character, and here that is the case, but it's still an amazing concept overall. Now let's talk about the design. This was made back in the day when XM Studios didn't need different display options, so there's no alternate portraits or hands. What you see is what you get. The one thing I'm going to tell you is these 2 huge pieces of water on the front and back that you're going to see in the assembly, watch out for them, they actually can be removed, although there is a huge magnet recess. But if you needed to save space, which as hoarders we've always done, but it's a horrible practice, but it is possible. And may be needed with the size of this statue, which we'll look at the size right after the unboxing and assembly. Huge box, which shipping would have been a ton. We'll talk more about that later. And this is an older XM Studios piece, so you see it comes with a manual here, which is always kind of nice. It's assembly manual, tells a little about the character. And they used to come with art prints, which I thought was pretty cool. But still classic, black straps, white foam, and this was 2 layers. Not that many pieces. You know, Namor, for the most part, was 1 piece other than his hand, as you can see right here. All right, we're going to say, I don't know, is this the front? Yeah, we're going to say this is the front. I don't know if it is or not. So if that's the front, then the widest point is about 27 inches, which is huge.
Hey, that's what she said.
I don't think this is going to fit where I want to put it.
That's what she said.
All right, the deepest part is 32 inches. Yeah, this is not going to fit. And the tallest part, I would say, is right under about 25.5 to 26 inches is where the trident goes. So I may try to angle this. I was going to put this with some of the Fantastic Four stuff I have next to a Doctor Doom on Throne. If you want to see where he goes, check out the Extreme Channel's social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But other than that, there's not a lot to talk of when it comes to design. It went together really well, as you saw. So I give the design a 4 out of 5. Definitely not bad at all, especially, again, you know, they've come out with a lot of technologies over the last 10 years to make it even better, but what would you improve on this? Paint and sculpt, there's a few things I would improve, but again, I think this holds up really well. Check it out. So it's interesting, as this is a much older piece, so do you hold it up to the same standards of today? Who's to say, but we'll look at it as objectively as possible. Looking at the water, clearly we've seen better water before. Most of the time when we have better water, it's actually a translucent resin. However, I think they did a nice job for painted polystone here, or some of it I think is resin. It's just not translucent. You don't have that see-through effect. But the white caps look great. The flow of the water, the ripples. It's really well done for the time. And I would even say for today, some of the statues that it competes against, I would have liked to see a little bit more wet effect. And those same comments are going to be on the squid as well, I believe. As we talked about, it's either an octopus or squid. Especially like when you look at him, his skin, and the suction cups. Otherwise, I think that it's done really well, this squid. I like the rough exterior, kind of if it had a moist effect over it, it would eliminate that elephant hide look, but I think the colors are good. The different nodules, the suckers. This always freaks me out about octopus and squids. Like, what if they get stuck on you and they don't let go? So the eye is a decal, but it's behind a glass encapsulation, which I think is kind of nice and kind of cool. Again, they needed a little bit more wet effect. He comes out of the water completely dry. But it still looks good without it. Regarding the Prince of the Seas here, he's really good for an older sculpt. There's a few bleed over in the paint, especially like if you look right there, where his torso meets the uniform, and you can see it at certain angles. But I like the musculature. I think it's done really well. He's not over muscularized. He doesn't have a belly button, but he's not human, so that kind of makes sense. The feathers look decent. I mean, those are definitely like a PVC resin, but I think it works well. Gives them that light effect. And you can even see some detail like the wrinkles in his toes. A few folds in the costume in subtle places, and the flow of it is really good. So you can tell whoever was sculpting this knew human anatomy and how clothing would fall on someone. Very buff up here. And then the gold that they used for the trident did a nice job. Again, another probably PVC piece, but you can't really tell. You see a little bit of bleed over in the portrait as well with the paint. See up by the top hairline and the ear. So paint could have definitely been better, but again, this is an older statue, so I have a little bit of forgiveness, even though I probably shouldn't. I like the gold on the belt and the gauntlets there. But the paint and sculpt is pretty good on this. They do have a glistening effect over the eyes, which have to be decals because they're done so well. I like how his hair is slicked back, and he has my same hairstyle most of the time. Not in this video, of course, but overall, the paint and sculpt is not too bad. In fact, it's better than some of the stuff we see come out today. Although a lot of the stuff we see come out today is vastly superior, but keep in mind there's been a lot of changes in technology, not only from a digital sculpting process, which I believe this was still digitally sculpted, but a long time ago, but also even the printing and paint application that can get some of those minute details or little errors that we've seen here that could have been better. But I am very pleasantly surprised. We're going to give the paint a 3 out of 5. I think it's really solid. Some of that bleed over, I'm giving it a little bit of grace because it is such an older statue. The sculpt, I really, really like. I give it a 4 out of 5. There's no question who it is. The squid and the water look fantastic. That's incredible. It's a 4 out of 5 for such an older piece. Is it worth it? So this is one of those Black Friday sales I got. You may have seen my XM Studios Luke Skywalker statue that I got for a steal right here. So I'm not going to judge the value, but like I said, I think he retailed for around $1,000 US. And you saw what a huge box it is. So shipping from overseas is typically $200 to $400. I believe I got him for either $450 or $500, including shipping, which is why I pulled the trigger. I mean, I got it from Hexapus. It's first time buying from Hexapus. I bought a whole bunch of these statues that you're going to see on the table, some of the older ones that I've always wanted, and just an absolute steal. By that point, the value would be amazing because I think I could actually get my money back, but we're not going to rate it. Now, does this have the X factor? I've wanted this for a really long time, and it didn't disappoint, even though I've wanted it for 10 years and I finally got it. My one hesitancy is how much space it takes up. That's probably why a lot of people haven't bought this. And you know, we don't have a ton of statues of this character. It just hit me. I actually have another custom statue I owned a long time ago, but it's when it was part of the Phoenix Force, the Phoenix 5. That's when it's a great storyline. Go back and check out that video, and I have all the different characters from that. But again, this is nostalgic for me. I'm going to put him with some Fantastic Four stuff and some Doctor Doom stuff. And if it fits, that's the big iffy. But the other negative is how amazing the base is, but it does take away from the character a little bit. But I think it's still a 4 out of 5 statue, even after all these years. Definitely not the best out there, but if you combine that amazing price, it is a winner for sure. Super stoked to have it. It's going to stay in the collection as long as it fits. I keep saying, as long as it fits. What an incredible line from a woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yes, we're still giving away $1,000 statues at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. You have to make sure you're subbed to the channel, you like the video, and then leave a comment. We're going to pick a random comment on a random video and give away those statues. In the meantime, check out some of these other videos and my social media. Talk to you soon. Take care.